It's time to hide your kids, hide your wives, hide yourself, because the flu is gonna get you. How's it going, tiny little hot dog cuties? Today we're gonna be talking about why the media has been so much sensationalizing the 2018 flu season. I mean, if you go onto Google and type in 2018 flu season, you'll see hundreds upon hundreds of news headlines talking about it, and it kind of makes you feel like the flu this season is the coming of the next apocalypse. And yes, in the beginning of this video, I did use a very old meme, but it's one of my favorite memes out there, so no regrets. So the flu is a widespread virus that tends to affect Americans every year. So why is it such a big deal now? How did it get so dangerous, as they're saying? But to be honest, you guys, you should always be careful of the flu. If you're in any way more sick than you should be, or if you're immunocompromised, the flu can get pretty deadly. So it's not just this year that you should be careful about the flu. You should be careful every year there's a flu season. And no, you don't have to be so scared that you think you're gonna die every time you catch the flu, but it's very important for you to take care of yourself, because illness is the way that we eventually end up perishing in this world. And just to put it into perspective, approximately 3,000 to 49,000 people die every year from the flu, according to Mayo Clinic. And yes, every fact that I'm going to be using in this video, links will be down below to those articles, because they're the ones that did the research and they deserve the credit for it. So why is this particular season getting so much attention? Well, the last time I checked the news, 30 children have already passed away due to the flu. And that's pretty concerning. And in addition to that, if you look at the CDC, they're claiming that the flu this season is spread towards the entire continental United States. So wherever you are, there's no place to escape it in the US. It's basically everywhere. I mean, look at the map. It's all colored. To make it worse, the strain of flu virus out there this season is one of the more aggressive types. It's part of the influenza A type. The subtype is called H3N2. I know for a lot of you, it sounds like, what are you talking about, Ben? But let me put you into perspectives. Let's just imagine that animation itself, the film animation industry itself, are viruses. And within the film animation industry, let's say there's anime. Anime is kind of like the flu virus. However, within anime, there are different types of anime, different genres of anime. We have shonen for boys, shoujo for girls, there's yuri, there's yaoi. There's a lot of genres in anime, and those are kind of like the types of flu viruses. So influenza A, influenza B, there's some other lesser known types. And within influenza A, there's the H3N2. So let's say within shonen anime, there's Dragon Ball Z. That's kind of like H3N2. And if you look at Dragon Ball Z, it's an overly aggressive anime with way too much violence and maiming than there needs to be, and that's kind of what H3N2 is. It's the most, not the most, but it's one of the more aggressive types of flu strains. I don't want to say the most, because there's always going to be another strain that comes out that's more aggressive than the other, so I don't want to jinx it. Not gonna lie, Dragon Ball Z is one of the best anime I watched growing up as a kid, but if it was ever to become materialized in real life, it would be absolutely horrifying. The reason why H3N2 is a particular concern is because of how effectively it can actually weaken one's immune system. And of course, this depends on the type of person the virus is attacking. Especially people who are children and older people are going to be more and more immunocompromised, because children have developing immune systems that haven't been up to its height yet, and also older people have diminishing immune systems, so they are the most vulnerable, and that's where we see most influenza death, in addition to adults with chronic illnesses, which basically weakens their immune system, making it harder for your body to fight any type of infection, any type of invader, and from there it's a slippery slope downwards. And I know all of this sounds really depressing, but guys, you can protect yourself. You can keep yourself at an optimal level so you can prevent yourself from getting sick from the flu. And if you do get sick from the flu, there are ways that you can diminish the number of symptoms you're getting and get better over time. So the number one defense to prevent yourself from getting the flu is to actually get a flu shot. Flu shots are very important. I know a lot of people say they're not as effective, and that's particularly true. It doesn't always work, but it's kind of like insurance. You know, you want to have insurance for your car. You also want to have insurance for you potentially getting the flu. It might not always work, but there is a high potential chance that it will work. Also, for this year specifically, the CDC recommends that you do not get the nasal variant of the flu vaccine. Get the shot. The shot is far more effective, and the nasal flu, a lot of people end up having problems with it. So the shot is where it's at. I know some people have some sort of health complication because of the shot. It's best that you refer to your medical provider in that instance. The next advice I have for you is that if you get sick, please do not go into your medicine cabinet and pick out antibiotics that you haven't used from a previous cycle or something like that. Antibiotics actually do not protect you from the flu because antibiotics are specifically for bacteria when you get a cold or any other type of bacterial infection or inflammation. The flu is not a bacteria. Antibiotics will not work, and if you take antibiotics, not only will it not work, it might increase the chance that bacteria will one day have antibiotic resistance to you. So be careful not to use that. Go to your doctor if you're sick. Don't go to anywhere else. Just go to your doctor. They will either, if you're really sick, give you an antiviral or some sort of other medication to help you cope with your illness. The next thing is that you should stay home if you're sick. I know you guys get this all the time, especially for people who attend university. I get this all the time in my emails. Like, whenever flu season hits, we get large emails saying, don't come to class if you're sick. However, I do realize that certain people have to go to work or have to go to class. What you can do to prevent spreading your illness is when you cough or sneeze, cover your face. Even better, wear a mask and sit far away from other people to minimize the risk of potentially giving it to someone else. We want everyone to be healthy. We don't want to be selfish. Another pro tip is that when you're driving in your car, I know it's cold and we want to turn on the heat. Be sure to turn the knob so that the wind actually blows downwards and not towards your face. The reason why is because when you blow wind towards your face, it actually dries out the mucus layer in your nose, and that's one of the first defense mechanisms we have against pathogens in our bodies. So when it's dried up, viruses can easily go into our system. When there's mucus, they get trapped in the mucus and they can't harm us anymore. And lastly, for the love of God, wash your hands regularly. It falls off your hands and down the sink. So there you have it, guys. Those are ways that you can protect yourself from the flu and why the media made such a huge, well, it's still making a huge deal about the flu right now. But the flu is always a health hazard. You should always take care of yourself. I love you guys. I want you guys to be around for my other videos. Be sure to like, subscribe, share this video. Thank you for watching this episode of Know Your Stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. This has been